This story is called Pullayya Tries to Break into the Temple. One day, as Venkateshwarlu wakes up and gets ready for his morning ablutions, a man comes running to his house. He shouts from outside, "Ayyagaru, Ayyagaru, please come out. Something untoward has happened at the temple." Venkateshwarlu rushes out. He looks at the caretaker of the temple and he asks him, "What are you doing here at this hour? What happened at the temple?" The caretaker, gasping for air, retorts out, "Ayyagaru, Ayyagaru, I had gone to the temple to open the gates, and what do I see? There is a thick rope hanging by the side of the temple wall. Someone seems to have tried to climb onto it yesterday. I am very afraid, sir, to open the gates now. Someone seems to have broken into the temple. Please come and check it out. Please, please come quickly." Venkateshwarlu realizes the urgency and says, "Go and fetch the sarpanch and the other elders from the village. Rush them towards the temple. I will also come quickly." Venkateshwarlu goes back inside, tells Vengabamba what has happened. He gets dressed up and starts for the temple. On the way he thinks, "I am the Dharmakarta of the temple. I have to uphold the traditions set down by my forefathers. I hope I will be able to avert any difficulty that arises out of this unfortunate incident." Saying so, he thinks back. My great-great-great-grandfather, almost 6 to 8 generations ago, had built a small Shiva temple in the center of the village. His children and his grandchildren had subsequently set up other temples around the Shiva temple. The temple complex now had Lord Shiva, Goddess Saraswati, Lord Vishnu, Lord Ganesha, Lord Hanuman, and a host of other deities. My forefathers would have had tremendous foresight. The first temple that had been built was a small Shiva temple. However, a large compound wall was erected. The wall was so big that even if 4 people, fully grown adults, stood one on top of each other, they could still not climb over the wall. And the wall was also made of thick stone. My forefathers would have thought, "Right now, I am building a small Shiva temple, but my children and their children further on will build other structures. If I build a small compound wall, it would not suffice. Therefore, let me build something that would last for centuries to come." Even as Venkateshwarlu was lost in his thoughts, he quickly arrived at the temple gates. So there was the small Shiva temple in the center, and then other temples dedicated to the other lords and goddesses, and then there was the huge compound wall. Yes, one would ask, what if the huge compound wall was constructed after all the temples were built? Well, that's not possible, you see. The huge compound wall had detailed writings of history going back all the way to Venkateshwarlu's great-great-great-grandfather. The compound wall also had the names of all great sadhus, kings, and chieftains who had visited the temple. It is impossible for anyone to remember all these dates and times and then write them after all the temples were constructed. So definitely, the small Shiva temple was constructed first, then the compound wall was constructed, and then were built all the other temples within the complex. Venkateshwarlu continued the same tradition of his forefathers. He was not merely the bookkeeper or accountant of the temple. He was not merely the person who appointed the caretakers, the cleaners, and all the others who took care of the temple. Venkateshwarlu was not the priest of the temple. The priest was appointed by the entire village. But Venkateshwarlu ensured that the priest came on time, that all the services being offered to all the gods and the goddesses were done properly. Venkateshwarlu did not take any money to manage the temple. It was his forefathers' legacy, and since they had started the temple, it was his duty to continue doing the same. There were other villagers in the vicinity, and they too had temples, and those temples also had dharmakartas. But this temple was the biggest among the temples that Venkateshwarlu knew in the neighboring region. Venkateshwarlu was worried. It was the first time in recent memory that any such incident had occurred in the temple. The others had not yet arrived, so Venkateshwarlu started walking around the temple wall. Very soon, he found a thick rope dangling from the top of the compound. He was very surprised. The compound wall is very tall. Who might have dared to climb it like so? In the meantime, the caretaker, along with the Sarpanch and other elders, arrived at the place where Venkateshwarlu was standing. They all started discussing loudly. Who would have done this? Who would have dared to do this to our temple? We must certainly report this to the authorities and get the person caught. As they kept discussing the matter, Pullayya ran towards the group and immediately fell down in front of Venkateshwarlu's feet. He said, Abbai Garu, you have to pardon me, you have to pardon me. Venkateshwarlu responded, What are you doing here, Pullayya? Whatever mistake you might have committed, let's discuss that later. Can't you see? I am looking into a very important matter right now. Pullayya repeats, No, Abbai Garu, I will not let go of your feet till you say that you have excused me. Please pardon me. Please pardon me. Venkateshwarlu gets irritated, but at the same time, he says, Okay, Pullayya, I understand. I will pardon you, no matter what the problem. Now go back to the house and let me discuss this matter. Pullayya then replies, Oh Abbai Garu, I am extremely sorry, but that rope is mine. Venkateshwarlu looks at him angrily and says, What do you mean, Pullayya? Do you know the meaning of this? You tried to break into the temple? Pullayya responds, Yes, Abbai Garu, I am very sorry. But what had happened was, little Bharani, you and Ammai Garu had visited the temple last evening. Little Bharani forgot her doll in the temple. When she came back home, I was trying to put her to sleep, and she started crying for the doll. Later on, Ammai Garu also tried to put her to sleep. But Bharani would not listen. She still wanted the doll, and she said that the doll is in the temple and the god will take the doll away. She had once heard the priest saying, If anything is left in the temple, after dark and after the temple is locked, little Krishna would come to the temple and take all the prasadam and everything that is kept there. Bharani started crying very loudly. Even I was scared. If little Krishna took away Bharani's doll, then what would happen to Bharani? Bharani would have nothing to play and she would cry all night. So I tried to come to the temple, throw a rope and climb over the wall. The Sarpanch retorted angrily, You fool! You broke into the temple after night and after the gates were closed. Do you know the meaning of this? Pullayya responded, No, Sarpanch ji. I was not able to break into the temple. I managed to throw the rope and dangle it across the wall. But when I tried to climb it, I heard little bells ringing inside the temple. It seemed like anklets of a small boy running around, and I also heard some laughter. I decided that it must be little Krishna playing with the doll. I did not want to disturb his game, so I got down from the rope and went back home. Everyone assembled there could not believe what they had heard. Even Venkateshwarlu, who was very familiar with the antics of Pullayya, could not believe what he was hearing. In the meantime, they all decided, Let us open the doors of the temple, go in and see if anything is missing. The caretaker took out his bunch of keys, opened the temple gates. The priest, murmuring some hymns, entered the temple first, followed by Venkateshwarlu and the others. Sure enough, as they walked around the temple, they found a tiny doll. Pullayya looked at the doll and he said, Yes, sir, this is Bharani's doll. Look, I told you, she had left it inside the temple. But She had left it in Lord Shiva's temple. How did it come to Lord Vishnu's temple? Everyone stood amused and amazed at Pullaya's innocence. True, he had tried to break into the temple, but at the end he did not disturb the peace and tranquility of the Lord. They decided that Pullaya had nothing but good intentions in his heart. They decided to forget the matter then and there. But Venkateshwarlu did wonder, if Pullaya was able to throw a rope, somebody else may also be able to throw a rope. Should I increase the height of the wall, or should I just leave it to the trust of Krishna to scare away all other thieves?